in. I've trained thousands of people, like I said, in health and wellness, people that came to me, professional athletes, morbidly obese, professional executives. And what did I do? I did a physical assessment on them. Then I would develop a program. I'm an exercise physiologist. I prescribe exercise. And we would start exercising. Okay. My job, I told them, was to get them to exercise on their own because I'm not going to be there for the rest of their life. And exercise is a lifelong commitment. Now, what I realized today, that potentially is like telling an alcoholic they can never have alcohol again. And let me explain to you why. I've been a daily exerciser. The only time I never exercised was when I was drinking heavily. Crazy, right? So, but I took for granted. It was like brushing my teeth my whole life. Oh my God, you're so committed. How do you do it? You know, people start New Year's resolutions. I'm going to exercise. Lasts what, a couple weeks? Same thing with the diet. The same behavioral pattern is necessary to have long-lasting, sustainable change. To tell people to just quit drinking doesn't work. This was an epiphany when my dear friend told me to read This Naked Mind when I was recovering from my traumatic brain injury. What clicked with me was when she said, I just wanted alcohol to be small and irrelevant. And this is where I heard for the first time alcohol is not a disease. Curious. Then I hear that behavioral change, which I have always been in, we set a goal. We start exercising. For all the years of my life, I never had to think about exercise. It never took too much time. It never was too hard. I knew to the physiological level exactly what was happening when I was exercising, what caused the soreness. Most people think that it is lactic acid. It's not. What causes soreness is micro tears in the cellular level that send signal to your brain, hey, I'm injured. What do? Our bodies are miraculous. They're brilliant. Hey, I am going to repair you. Not only am I going to repair you, but I'm going to make you stronger. So when this lunatic decides to lift these weights again or do this yoga again, they are going to be better equipped to deal with it. While you're exercising, why does it burn? Well, that is an accumulation of hydrogen ions, lactic acid, lack of oxygen immediately. Right when you stop exercising, the blood flows back, the oxygen goes back, you no longer have the burn. So lactic acid is gone minutes after we exercise, depending on the intensity, is how long it takes for it to get out of your system, but it's not causes soreness. So I never said this, but deep down, I'm just like, exercise, people. There is no magic bullet to health and diet and weight loss. Exercise and diet. I took for granted that I had the neurological pathways that began at 10 years old. I was educated. It was my life. I didn't have to think how to exercise. I got up, put on my shoes, or got out my yoga mat and didn't even think about it. I also didn't have to think about how to do it. I was an exercise physiologist. I've taught everything under the sun, including yoga and weight training, taught personal trainers, taught group fitness since I was 18 years old. And it was the neurological pathways in my brain were there to exercise. So what wasn't there was the neurological pathways not to drink. They were there to drink. Since we are children, these are the messages that we see. It is critical in order to make a behavioral change. The first thing you need is knowledge, education. With the knowledge or education, your emotion about it changes. Then the action happens. We think about it the reverse. I did for years. Now, if I were to put people on an exercise program, I would do what they would do in This Naked Mind. Annie Grace doesn't tell you to stop drinking. She puts you on a pause while you ingest, you journal, you do all these things. Well, with exercise, I would say this month, don't exercise. Do it when you want to. Stop drinking if you want to. Start becoming aware. Hello, yoga meditation, since 1996, it's about awareness. They asked the Buddha, what are you? Are you a saint? No. What are you, a god? No. Well, what are you then? Awake, he said. Awareness. Oh my gosh. You would think I would have known this about behavioral science and change. I've been at it and taught it and trained people. And I did try to educate. I had high-powered attorneys that said, Kirsten, I can afford someone to be here. I won't exercise unless they show up to my door. I think all day long. I don't want to think when I exercise. Now, I would educate people when I could. But the reality is, without the knowledge, we don't feel the same. I felt like exercise was a joy. I knew what it did to my endorphins. I knew what it did to my brain. I knew what it did chemically. I knew what it did physiologically and to my body. I didn't have to think about it. Drinking, I could not stop drinking. On some subconscious level, I thought I was getting a benefit from it. It was socially more acceptable. It was a stigma when I wasn't drinking. The neurological pathways in my brain didn't change until I started to embark upon this research. Now, I do want to preface that because the neurological pathways are in my brain scientifically, I am a scientist, I'm a researcher, I know neurology, I know brain anatomy, I know physiology, I know the chemicals. My change in relationship to alcohol was instantaneous. It was like I discovered the light bulb. It was E equals MC squared. No joke. It was instantaneous. Rewiring on my brain because those pathways were there. I just never correlated it or related it to alcohol. Fascinating, you guys. This is so exciting. I can tell you today, because of the knowledge, my relationship with alcohol is forever changed. I do not look at alcohol the same way. It's not the elixir. It is not the stress reducer. I am going to scientifically tell you what alcohol does to you physiologically, to your brain. And you will never look at a glass of wine the same. I promise you. It might take you more time. You might have to do some more of your own research. I am going to give you all the tools. The earth is no longer flat. How do we operate? Out of fear. We didn't go to the horizon. No way. Until we realized the earth was round, we were like, excitement, exploration. Woohoo. That's how I feel now about alcohol. I was more afraid about alcohol than I was during my recovery from traumatic brain surgery when I got paralyzed my whole left side. They didn't know I was going to recover from that while I was in the hospital. This is so fascinating. Stay with this. I promise you, you will not have to be in recovery. You do not have to think about it every day. You can be liberated. If I was top 5%, I promise you, in the throes of addiction of alcohol, it had me by the neck with a noose. It almost killed me. My brain traumatic accident and injury unrelated to alcohol did not kill me. What almost killed me again after recovering from that was alcohol. I am on a mission. I got the phone call from my dear friend that I went to my first rehab with to share with me last Thursday that one of the gals, beautiful young woman in her 30s, going through a terrible divorce, used alcohol as medication, never stopped. She passed away last Thursday. Famous doctor on television in the States, still berating people. Blame, shame doesn't work. You just can't stop. You've got to educate, become aware. Your emotion has to change or your behavior won't change. This is the same with exercise. This is the same. Why do 95% of diets don't work? I am telling you, it's behavioral science. It's change. It's how the brain works. Stick with this. We will continue. This is freedom. This is exciting.